And because the sun's up now, we're getting some light on the side of the hill, which is looking quite nice. One shot. Two shots. Good morning everyone. This morning I am at another coastal scene, Righteous Yoma. Weather forecast was calling for lots and lots of high level cloud here this morning, but there's not that much. Nevertheless, we're here, we'll set up, and it's a very pretty scene. There's some lovely tones out on the horizon. There is some high level cloud out there. There's a bit of high level cloud up in the sky, just not in the ideal place. I've already got set up and I'm taking my first shot. I'm shooting wide angles, basically with the waves as they're hitting the rocks coming in from the bottom right hand side, leading the eye up. And then we've got the shape of the hill up in the background with the old ruined watchtower on the top, and then the land coming out across the scene with you can see a bit of Benidorm skyline, the Sierra Nevada mountains, and some quite nice tones out in the sky there. Focused on the hill, so infinity, f11. 8 seconds. So I really want the whole of the shape of the hill in here. So that's why I'm shooting with a landscape or horizontal format. Unfortunately the sky hasn't got the amount of clouding that I was really hoping for, but it's still a pretty scene, it still looks nice. It's quite difficult to set up here. The beach is all big rocks and pebbles. So setting up the tripod is tricky. Setting up the tripod for the video camera is also tricky. And I decided not to go too low down. Partly because the waves are unpredictable and I could end up getting swamped, but also partly because I felt the composition works better with a slightly higher vantage point. So now I'm just waiting and shooting as the light's changing. Taking a few shots ranging from 8 seconds when I started. I'm now down to a second. I'm not using any filters, basically because if I use an ND grad, I'm going to darken that hill even more than it is already, and I don't want it any darker. And at the moment I can just about balance the exposure, so my histogram is good with no blown highlights and no clipped shadows, but only just. If I get to the point when I can't balance the exposure without filters, then what I'll do is bracket and shoot one for the highlights, one for the shadows, and then merge them later. What we're seeing now is that colour that was in the sky earlier has now faded. It's gone from quite vibrant oranges and some reds. So I'm a bit unstable here, balancing on some rocks. It's gone from some quite vibrant oranges and reds, and it's now gone to sort of like very pale pastel colours. Still quite pretty, but we're not getting any fantastic colours. So the last time I was here was, I don't know, December, January, and I was photographing at the other end of the day. It was sunset, the sun was setting behind me, so it was front lighting this entire scene. Today, of course, I'm doing pretty much the opposite. The sun is rising kind of out behind the scene and over to the right, so we're backlighting, which means that hill is much more in shadow. Starting to get down to some shorter exposures now where we might get some interest in the waves. Half a second. Obviously the longer exposures the waves are flattened out and blurred. Because we're now getting shorter exposures down to half a second, means we're getting interest in the waves. So what I've done is put on my cable release, taken my 2-second timer off, and that means I can time my shots much more accurately to capture the waves actually breaking, which is much more interesting. Okay, so the sun's coming up now and it's kind of a long way over on the right hand side of my frame. I'm at 16mm, so I can't get any wider. So what I'm going to do is shoot probably a 3-shot panorama. My tripod is actually pretty level. I've just tweaked it a little bit and I've leveled the camera, and I'm just going to do 3 shots across f11 1/13 of a second. Ugh, wet feet. And we'll see what that looks like. Okay, some small bits of cloud have just come in the blue sky over the top of the hill and the tower. And because the sun's up now, we're getting some light on the side of the hill, which is looking quite nice. I'm just going to shoot one more pano because there's some interesting cloud patterns just around by where the sun is. I'm shooting ISO on the low 1 setting, f16 1/13 of a second. One shot. Shots. 3 shots. 4 shots. A little bit of blown highlights around the sun, which is what I would expect. That might look quite nice. Okay, we are now 25 minutes after sunrise and I think we're done for the morning. The light's getting pretty strong now. Most of the clouds are burning off around the scene that I'm shooting. and I think it's time to pack up and head for home and see what I've got. I'm hoping I've got a couple of nice shots. It's a beautiful morning. Could have done with more cloud, but you never get it perfect. And yeah, I've enjoyed myself, and I hope you have as well. So if you have enjoyed this video and you're not already a subscriber, please consider hitting subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much, I appreciate that. And again, if you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or a share or both. And of course, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.